guys, I hope your week is going really well. It is Wednesday, almost payday for me, yay. I wanted to come on and do a video about Mercury going in retrograde, because this is, for me, it's one of the biggest, kind of most disruptive Mercury's going in retrograde in a couple years. I began feeling this Mercury a couple weeks ago. Ooh, that's pretty. And it's not actually in retrograde until tomorrow, so I think it has something to do with the fact that tomorrow Mercury goes into retrograde. Friday is a full moon and a lunar eclipse. And so all that energy that's just bubbling up and pouring over and stuff has been really disruptive. So there's a couple things that I do to try to prepare myself for a really tough Mercury retrograde. And so I wanted to come on and talk about what I do and some of the things that you can do to kind of help you get through it smoothly, or a little bit more smoothly than maybe you would. So, first of all, can I find, this Mercury in retrograde is while Mercury is in Leo. So there's a few signs that it's particularly disruptive for, and there's a few signs that it's a little bit less. So it's a little bit less this time because it's in Leo. For Gemini, Virgo, and Aquarius, so you might not have quite so hard a time. For Libra, Sagittarius, Pisces, and Leo, it's a little more strained this time. So we have to kind of be careful. So I wanted, first of all, to go over some things to focus on when Mercury is in retrograde. These are some of the things that you can kind of put your mind to that will kind of work out okay and will help you hopefully go through it. I want to go over some crystals that you can carry with you to help you with those swanky energies, and a couple herbs. I make myself a little herb satchel. Okay, so first of all, what can we focus on? So we know our energies are off the chart. Things are way different than they usually are. Try to use your intuition more than your logic. Your logic, when Mercury is in retrograde, because communication is off, your logic is not always working the way it normally would. So something that you think is logical when Mercury is in retrograde might not actually be logical. It might be like way off from what you would normally think. So go on intuition a little bit more, kind of dig deeper inside to say, maybe I can really feel this out a little more. Look at problems from a different perspective or new understanding. So if something comes right up at you and you're like, this is my initial reaction, this is how I would normally look at this situation, try to look at it from somebody else's perspective. Somebody, not even just their perspective, but take yourself out of where you're at and think of somebody else's perspective. Like, this is not happening to me, so how could I deal with this differently than I normally would? Sometimes I will go for a walk before I answer a big question, or I deal with a problem that I'm confronted with. I just give it some more time. Tell somebody, write down what you would do differently. Be the one to say you're sorry first. If you know Mercury's in retrograde, you know what, maybe I'm not quite up to what I normally am. So be prepared to be the one that says, you know what, I'm really sorry. Things are a little off for me, so try to bear with me for the next 3 weeks and allow me to deal with things a little differently. I apologize. Be prepared to do that ahead of time so that when the situation comes up, you can immediately think, oh, you know what? Maybe I'm just going to say I'm sorry first. Be flexible. So this really is the overarching thing, is to just be flexible with yourself, be flexible with other people, be flexible with the situations that you come into contact with. Be ready to change your plans. If somebody cancels plans on you, just let it go with the flow. It's time to be more flexible for the next 3 weeks for sure. Especially when you're traveling. If you plan on any kind of travel, and hopefully it's not big travel, but if it is, expect that things may go wrong. Call right before you leave to go to the airport to make sure nothing is late. Double check on your tickets. Do you have your tickets with you? Are they on the correct date? Are they still on the date you thought you set them for? All that thing. Double check everything, because there's a greater risk with computers and stuff not really working with you the way they normally would. There's a greater risk that kind of goes a little crazy. Back up all your data. So tomorrow retrograde starts. Tonight, tomorrow, go to your computer, your smartphone, your tablets, and do a backup. If it hasn't been done in a while, maybe it's time to just back it up. Just in case, then if something goes wrong, you only have to go backwards to today, to this point. That's it. Okay, fine. I'll deal with, even if it's, the end of Mercury in retrograde, that's 3 weeks from now. That's only 3 weeks of stuff I have to worry about instead of however long it's been since you backed up. Get a tune-up on your car. If you have a car, you own a car, go get a tune-up. I'm going tomorrow to get my oil changed. And, they'll take a look at things and make sure things are working well. Make sure you have as much gas in your car as you need. Treat everything with kid gloves. This is a time to do something creative. So if you paint, draw, dance, read a book, write in a journal. Now's a good time to start writing in a journal, because you can kind of reflect on what happened that was a little different. You can follow your steps backwards. Make music if you're a person who sings or plays an instrument or something. Do something creative, because when you're using that part of your brain, it helps your brain to stay more flexible about everything. So with every problem, I have a meme that I sent out to my coworkers that said, I bet you didn't know I could answer a question in creative dance. Well, now's the time. Maybe it's time to do stuff completely different. And when you're asked a question, think about, what dance could I do to reflect how this goes? It's really time to turn things around. It is okay to do some reorganization. Reorganize your room, reorganize your house, reorganize your workspace. That's okay. Just don't make huge changes to a room. You don't want to refurnish and try to build a different add-on in your bathroom, or tear up a wall, or don't do any of that big stuff. But you can do just reorganize things. Review and reflect. So again, maybe journal. This is a good time to start writing in a journal. I plan on pulling out my Book of Shadows and working on my Book of Shadows for the next couple weeks. Slow down. Give yourself extra time to get to work for the next couple weeks. Give yourself extra time for everything. Slow down a little. Don't plan quite so many activities if you can help it than you normally would, so that you have a little bit more flexibility time in between mishaps. Meditation. It's a good time to start a meditation. Even if you do 5 minutes a day. If you leave for work 5 minutes earlier, get in your car, sit in your car, turn your car on, and start a meditation app for 5 minutes. It'll make a huge difference in your day. Gives your body a chance to refocus itself. And just accept that frustrations and redos and delays and miscommunications and meltdowns, they're all inevitable. So if you accept them, Accept that it's going to happen. When they happen, you can immediately go, oh yeah, I kind of expected things to go wonky. I'm not going to flip out about this. I'm just going to kind of let it go because I expect that there's going to be some issues. There's going to be some turmoil. There's going to be some changing of plans. If you expect it ahead of time, it's not going to be such a big deal. So that's good. Okay, so things to avoid. Avoid making any major purchases, negotiating or signing contracts. So you don't want to buy a new house. You don't want to find a new apartment. You don't want to do anything rash, quit your job, say you're going to move across country, go on a job interview. You don't want to do any major life changes during these 3 weeks, because you may do that and then say, why did I do that? Why was I thinking that that was a good idea? You don't want to go on a first date. For goodness sakes, save that for, I mean, tell somebody you're out of town. Who you portray yourself to be during these 3 weeks and who they portray themselves to be could be very different from the person that you are and the person that they are when Mercury is not in retrograde. I would not recommend going on first dates during these 3 weeks for sure. Don't behave recklessly. Think about it ahead of time. And this kind of goes along with just expect things to go wrong. So this is not a time to go out bar hopping. This is not a time to, join a street racing club. Don't do anything that you wouldn't normally do in excess. Don't purchase electronic equipment. Don't get a new computer, don't get a new tablet, don't get a new phone. Not only will it not work the way you want it to, you're not going to get the one that you will need most of the time, because electronics and technology, and especially computers, do not get a new computer during this time. Bad idea. If you can help it, don't get into a bunch of arguments or fights. Like I said, I try to remember during this time that I'm crankier during this time than I normally am. So if my husband is really getting on my nerves, if my aunt is driving me nuts, I really need to think about, okay, take myself out of the situation. Don't flip my lid. I need to go on a walk. I need to go for a drive to the park and sit under a tree, or go yell at a tree for a while that I know cannot be mad at me when I'm all done with this. Do your relationships differently. Expect that there's going to be problems, and just back out before you get to that argument stage. You don't want to get into it. Don't start a new job. Don't sign a contract, buying a house, going on a job interview. Do not assume any understanding on another's part. So, a coworker comes to you with this problem. Do not assume without fully engaging and listening, and repeat back to them what they're saying to you. Do not assume that you know what this person is talking about, what this person is thinking about. If someone comes to you with an issue, try to repeat back what you think they're saying to them. Don't assume that you've got it, because what they are saying and what you are understanding may be a completely different thing right now. And finally, do not hide under a rock. It is not the funnest time, even if it's not a particular bad Mercury for you. It is not going to be the end of the world. Even if you start out and you do everything wrong, just try to keep it in the back of your head that Mercury is in retrograde. There is a full moon on Friday, that it's plus a lunar eclipse, which also makes that energy crazy. But don't hide from it. Just get out there and do your best in it. Okay, so to help you out, besides all of that, do some meditation, pull out your journals. I'm going to go through my Book of Shadows, use your tarot cards, You know, if you're like, okay, what in the world? I don't know what the heck I'm supposed to be doing today. Pull out your tarot cards and do a 3-card spread for yourself. What can I expect today? What should I be looking out for today? Who can I count on? What can I count on to help me through it today? Oh, okay, so there is some help today. Even if you pull the Tower card, there's going to be somebody to help you through it. And again, with the Tower card, you just have to remember, yeah, I knew things were going to go a little wonky, and it's okay because I expect it. So I'm going to be flexible as I can with it and just try to ride it out. One of the things you could do is, like I said, I usually make myself up a Mercury in retrograde satchel. So what I mean by that is I have a couple different, this one is leather, and it like is big enough to hold a couple stones. This one is like a little crocheted bag, same thing, big enough to hold a couple stones. So I usually make a little stone satchel. So there are 3 herbs that if you combine them during Mercury in retrograde time, they can help you energetically and with their aroma get through. Like if somebody's coming at you and you feel like you're going to explode on them, I make this satchel and I literally will open up the bag and put it over my nose and take 2 seconds. Even if that's all you have is 2 seconds. Say, excuse me, 1 second. Turn around, put your little Mercury in retrograde emergency kit and take 2 deep breaths with it. So the first thing is sage. You do not have to use white sage, garden sage, however you want. I'm going to use this one to start out with. There is not exact measurements of this. I just know I want a little bit of what I have. So I'm going to take a little pinch of sage, put it into my little satchel, maybe. Spill it all over the floor. No, I'm not. Okay, so a pinch of sage. I'm going to take a little bit more of a pinch because I want to be able to smell every bit of this. Okay, so a little bit of sage. Then you're going to take a little bit of lemon balm. The leaf of the lemon balm. I can smell it already. Yay. And finally, lavender. So lavender, lemon balm, and sage. These 3, they work great energetically together. And their aroma together works great to give you an immediate sense of, okay, break time. Okay, I'm going to mix it up. Yeah. Good. Now, what I also am going to add is some of the crystals. So I'm going to put this aside for now. 3 herbs that you want to think of if you can get your hands on these herbs. Sage, lemon balm, and lavender. Those 3 are really good for right now. Now, let's say you can't. You looked all over for lemon balm and nobody has it. Can't find it. That's okay. Pick something that is calming though. Calming for you. Pick something that when you open up that jar you go, okay, I can deal with that. Lavender alone is really good with this. Lavender alone, though, to me, makes sleepy. Makes me a little sleepy. I'm kind of like, okay, good. I'm going to go to sleep now. And patchouli, sometimes I will add patchouli. Energetically, that's not this Mercury for me, but could be for you. All right, so let's talk about crystals. What crystals are good for Mercury in retrograde? Okay. Black tourmaline, if at all possible, and I have a bunch of raw black tourmaline. Black tourmaline is called the scrubber. It's a scrubber of negative energy. So the negative energies that you come in contact with, it pulls those negative energies, scrubs them all down so that they are either neutral or positive, and then allows it to circulate. So definitely, definitely a piece of black tourmaline. I'm going to get myself a little piece because I only have a little satchel. But definitely black tourmaline if you can. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to add my black tourmaline to my same bag here. That also will keep you grounded, which is very important during Mercury in retrograde. Okay, what's next? Lepidolite. Lepidolite is a wonderful stone. Not just because it's purple, but partly because it's purple. Lepidolite is a calming stone. When you hold lepidolite, you want all the time. I always have at least one piece of lepidolite on me. Where's my... Somewhere I have a lepidolite. Yeah, here we go. A little wand. That's in my medicine bag most of the time. For ADD. It's a calming stone, and it allows me to let go of any of that crazy energy that's in front of me. Okay, so I'm going to put a little piece of, I'm going to take my raw lepidolite, I think, for my medicine bag this time. Now, I'm not going to be able to put all of these stones in here, but I did pull out all of these stones so I could at least show you some examples of what they look like. Hematite. If you cannot find black tourmaline, you need a grounding stone. So what other grounding stones are there? Hematite is a wonderful grounding stone. I have some of these little jobbies, so I'm actually going to add one of my little jobbies in here. Hematite will keep you well grounded. And sometimes, you know, I need extra grounding during Mercury, and I'll actually just put a palm stone in my pocket. I need some more of that. What else here? Where's my brachiated jasper? I have a really good palm stone someplace. There we go. A brachiated jasper. Brachiated jasper. That's a root chakra stone. Very grounding. Well, root chakra is right at the base of your spine, where your tailbone is right there. If you are feeling like I'm going to lose it, take a piece of brachiated jasper or any grounding stone and literally just put it right at the base of your spine. Take a couple deep breaths. Okay, it's time to just calm. Okay. So brachiated jasper, that's a good one. What else? Grounding, grounding, grounding. Oh, smoky quartz. Smoky quartz is the other really good grounder. I just love my smoky quartz. Obviously, it's like quartz, but it's got a little bit of that brown in there. Some have less than others. This you can hardly tell that there's brown in there. Some have lots. Doesn't matter, little or a lot. Just get yourself a piece of something grounding. One of those three is what I would recommend. Okay, so the other thing that's huge is communication stones. And there's lots of communication stones. So when you think of communication stones, first you're going to think of your throat chakra. What is good for your throat chakra? And usually anything that's good for your throat chakra is a good communication stone. Now, my favorite, one of my very favorite stones of all time is fluorite, but blue fluorite. All right, hold on. There we go. I love my blue fluorite. Blue fluorite, I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about it, but blue fluorite is one of those things that I literally have a very hard time walking away from. If a store has the blue fluorite, it's like I have to have it. I'm definitely a blue fluorite nut collector. I have really dark blue pieces. I have light blue pieces. I have kind of turquoise pieces. Blue fluorite is just my absolute favorite. Now, any fluorite is okay for communication. The blue really ramps up your communication skills. Allows you to listen more effectively, allows you to speak more effectively. So hopefully when you are, look at, oh, that's like my favorite piece ever. Love it. Hopefully when you are speaking, you can, because it's got purple in there too, you can get across whatever it is you're trying to get across, and it won't be so misunderstood. So I'm just going to put a little piece of my blue fluorite in there. I have cubes. I have way too much, probably, blue fluorite. Okay, where's my bag? Here we go. So I'm going to put a little piece of blue fluorite in there. What did I do with the top? Oh, here it is. Another good communication stone is sodalite. Again, a nice blue stone. There's several different grades of sodalite. The better grades are real dark blue. This is a rough stone. They all work. A lot of them have that white in them. They work just as well as the dark. I tend to be drawn more to that dark blue. Come on. I love the darks. But the white stuff works just as well. And is probably easier to see on camera. Yeah. So I am going to add a little piece of sodalite in there. You cannot have too many communication stones during Mercury. See, look at, I have the window open in front of me and I'm dying. Okay. Other communication stones. Blue lace agate. What are we on? Oh my goodness, we're on 28 minutes. Holy crap. Okay. Blue lace agate. Dumortierite, which is, again, it looks very similar to the sodalite. It's very dark. Let me go to my list here. I'm not going to be able to show as many as I wanted. Okay. Communication. Lithium quartz. Lithium quartz has some purple in there. There's actually lithium, you know, the lithium that they give to psych patients and stuff to calm them down. There's actually lithium in lithium quartz. It turns out it's purple. Dumortierite, fluorite, lepidolite, brachiated jasper helps with communication also, and amsonite. This is a rough piece I got from my grandmother a long time ago. That's all great for communication. Ammonites. So the little shell looking ones. They're actually fossils. That is a good kind of grounding stone. Allows you to be understood better. Shivalingums. So that's kind of my medium-sized one there. Shivalingums are great for balance. I, being a Libra, always have a shivalingum on me because I need that balance in my life. Aquamarine. Jet. Jet is the black stone that's really super light. You pick it up and you're thinking, is this even a stone? It's way too light. That's jet. Sodalite, emerald, blue lace agate. Black tourmaline, hematite, smoky quartz, all for grounding. If there's any way you can get a hold of a Viking ball, I keep this in every room during Mercury in retrograde, because this actually is an amazing stone. It pulls in negative energy from everywhere and scrubs it and spits it out. It will clean a whole room of negative energy. It's great. Ulexite. Ulexite. Keep ulexite near your computer if you have it. That will help with the breakdown in the computer problem. Amethyst will keep moving you forward. Moonstones for sensitivity. Kyanite. Blue kyanite scrubs your entire aura, and it realigns all your chakras. Okay? And then your herbs, lemon balm, lavender, and sage. Good luck, guys. I know you can do this. The key is flexibility. Really. Keep yourself flexible. Blessings.